Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Peter. Hi, Peter. Yes, hi, Peter. Yes, because I can see myself in the screen recording. Yes, hi, Peter. But hi, people. Hi, everyone. I'm Peter from Peter's English Podcast, and this is my traditional Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode. Yay! Welcome, everyone. And let's start with the slogan of Peter's English Podcast that I wrote last Sunday. Not last Sunday, not Peter. What are you talking about? Don't talk nonsense. You wrote it during the last Christmas. I mean Christmas of the year 2025. Okay, let's start. Learn English, be successful, change your life, open elder doors, create your own podcast, write your own novel. You don't need to be talented because learning English is for everyone. Hi everyone, and we can start. This is Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode. The main goal is to survive 1 hour in English. And the main goal is to talk and talk and talk and talk about every kind of nonsense for 1 hour without any kind of preparation. And the main goal is to survive and improvise to 1 hour. And I think that I can do this because this is not the first time, people. You know, I'm a professional now. I'm a professional podcaster. And this is Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode. Okay, people, I'm glad to see you all, and yes, I mean myself only, but okay. Uh, I'm so glad that uh, I can do this kind of episodes and that I can do this today. Okay, people, you know it's very hot in Slovakia, and that's the main reason why I have this T-shirt. This is traditional summer T-shirt. I think I don't know the correct answer for this kind of T-shirt. And I'm sweating. Yes, I know. Imagine this week. This week was so hot in Slovakia. Imagine dry and very hot air and 41 degrees. Yes, I know this is the kind of heat wave that is in the Europe, and but we have to survive. And I'm here, and I drank a cup of mineral water. I can survive this 1 hour, and I had to close the windows because it's too hot. And yes, it's because it's too hot. Yay, yay, yes. I meant that I had to close the window because I didn't want to allow the outside noise. And yes, and this was the main reason. Okay, people. Uh, I don't want to talk about my personal life because in my personal life, uh, I don't think so. It's a good idea. Okay, Peter, what are you talking about? Don't care. Okay, people don't care, and we can continue with the this week. Yes, people, because this week I streamed and recorded 4 episodes of PPP Picture in Picture Mode episodes Learn English with Peter, where I chatted with the study and learn mode on Microsoft Copilot. We talked about English grammar, and Copilot uh, generated very funny and crazy and wild 500 word crazy stories where I wanted to teach you English grammar. People don't touch because I accidentally touched the cable of my mic, but I'm still online. Okay, I'm still in business. Okay, let's continue. I'm not in the real business. You know what I meant. I mean in the business that I can be online. Okay, Peter, just shut up and continue about this nonsense. Okay, this is nonsense episodes. Yes, but I know. Yes, but the main goal is to survive 1 hour in English. And I like to do this, and I can simply talk and talk and talk for 1 hour without any problems. Okay, and I want to continue that this week as I talked before, I streamed and recorded 4 episodes of PPP Picture in Picture Mode episodes Learn English with Peter, and this Friday was my publication day of Peter's English Podcast, where I traditionally published all recordings as my official episodes of my Peter's English Podcast, and on Saturday, I mean yesterday, I wrote, streamed, recorded, read, and acted chapter 16 of season 3 of my novel Viera the Vampire Diary. Today's episode, the chapter 16 is about Peter's Name's Day special episode, and this last chapter 16 was about Peter's Name's Day, and there I wanted to celebrate Peter's name day, and she did it. She ordered a a private room in the nightclub, Vampire Club in London, and she invited the every colleague of Peter and Vera from their work, because Peter and Vera, as you know, they work in the typical English pub, and Peter was flirted yeah, was flirting with every girl in the party, and Vera was jealous, but she had to be quiet because Vera did a lot of bad things. Yes, she was she drank a lot of alcohol, and she was drunk, and made she made a fool of Peter and of herself, and she decided that Peter can enjoy no rule, where Peter can do everything what he wants, and Vera can do. But in this kind of relationship, I mean, this kind of romantic relationship between Peter and Vera in my novel, it's about trusting. And yes, people, and I was inspired that it's a very good part of the fun, and it's the part of the fun, of course. And Peter was flirting. He had a good time, uh, and yes, of course, Peter's brother Pavel was very sad, and he was angry because Vera uh, told him that can have a beautiful vampire girlfriend, and Thomas Bennett, their boss and the owner of the typical English pub where Vera and Peter work, was very sad too, because he's single too, and the most important, the most funniest situation was when Thomas Bennett and Pavel met their girlfriends. Yes, because Vera really called single beautiful vampire women, and and Thomas Bennett uh, started a romantic relationship with the beautiful, tall, gothic female vampire Elena from Romania that works with him in his typical English pub. As you know, she's wild, crazy, typical vampire women who like flirting with boys and showing before the boys. And Pavel met his new girlfriend. She is very beautiful and tall, brunette with the dark with the dark brunette hair, and and she likes money. She likes uh, she wanted to do her career in the bank of her parents, because her parents are owners uh, of the, I think, the second richest uh, vampire bank in the UK. Yes, people, this is the kind of my fantasy, because this is a fantasy, and she is the uh, and her parents are vampire, because she's a vampire, of course, and she's the future owner of the whole uh, of the whole syndicate. I mean, of the whole property, and but Viera uh, made a deal with her parents that she had that she has to marry the guy that Viera choose, and she decided that the girl, she's called Sophie Ashford. I mean, this vampire girl has to marry Peter's brother Pavel, and it was a good choice because they both are like money, careers, and so on. And Peter and not Peter. What I'm talking about? And Peter's brother Pavel fell in love, and she too. And Thomas Bennett fall in love too, and everything ended well. And Vera was so happy at the end of the story, because and she decided that she wants to show more feelings for Peter, because she was commanding him like a little guy, like a little child, and she was joking that Peter is her little child, because I like this joke that women like to play with children and all men are children too. Yes, people, it's funny. And okay, this was the okay, Peter. Just don't destroy the cable because without cables you cannot. People cannot hear you, but I can see that everything works perfectly. Just continue. Okay, this was people the content of chapter 16 of season season 3 of my novel Viera the Empirical Diary, and now we can continue with the official statistics of Peter's English podcast. And I'm so happy that I have 4,536 total streams or downloads everywhere except YouTube. Yay! Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And on Spotify, the biggest majority of my audience are girls in my age. Thank you, girls, like usual, and boys too. And I think I have more than 19 hours only on Spotify. I mean, listening time. I'm so happy. Thank you, everyone. And girls are from Slovakia, and in general, the biggest country is the USA. Yay! The second place is for Vietnam. The third place is for Japan. Fourth place is for Brazil, and the fifth place is for Slovakia. And Slovakia, it's only 3.7% of this whole number, 4,546 total streams or downloads. It means the 90% of my audience is from foreign countries. Yes, people, and the biggest country is the USA. It means that that my Peter's English podcast is like American podcast, and it's a big honor for me. Thank you guys, because I'm a guy from East Slovakia, and my native language is Slovak language. Yes, of course, I'm Slovak from Slovakia, and Slovakia is in Europe, is in Middle Europe. It's a big honor for me. Thank you guys. I'm so happy. And yes, we can continue with the statistics of YouTube, where I think in this moment I think it's the same. I have 6,800 views. I mean my reels have this kind of number, and my long videos have 4,200 views, and my live streams have now 800 views, and that's great. And I still have 148 hours. That's great. Thank you, people. But yes, and I have 45 followers on YouTube, and on Spotify I have 14 followers. Thank you guys. And yes, Peter, don't forget to tell you that I had more than 500 views that I have per 500 views per month, and I have 1 hour 23 minutes per month on Spotify. That's great. It means people are really listening me and watching me, because yes, people, you have to know that on YouTube and on Spotify I have my full HD video podcast, and I'm so happy. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. But you can read my novel Viera the Empirical Diary on my Quadpod account and on my website petersenglishpodcast.com. And now, people, tram-ta-da-da! Yes, people, I want to talk about two topics. The first topic is the second birthday of Peter's English Podcast. Yay! Tram-ta-da-da! Tram-ta-da-da! I'm so happy. Because I've just discovered today that I celebrated my second birthday. Not my puppy second birthday. I'm not 2 years old. I'm 35 years old. And I'm from East Slovakia, as you know. I hope that you know. But Peter, the best thing is that they didn't know. Yes, that they don't know. Okay, I want to tell you that my Peter English podcast is celebrating 2 years. Yay, the second birthday. And I just discovered that it celebrated on 15 June of this year, because I remember that I uploaded my first 12th episode on Spotify for creators on 15 June 2024. Yes, people, I was always thinking that it's 24th of June. No, it's 15th of June. And I celebrated, I think, uh, 2 weeks or ago, but I didn't know about it. But I'm so happy. I'm podcasting. I've been podcasting for 2 years. Yes, people. And the second thing is that tomorrow I'm celebrating in Slovakia my name's day because I'm called Peter. Yeah, yes, you have to know this because it's Peter's English podcast. It's about me. It's my podcast, and it's the main reason why it's called Peter's English podcast. And I want to. Yes, I was inspired by Luke's English podcast, my hero, because my Luke's English podcast is my favorite English podcast. It's the best English podcast for learning real British English. And yes, it's a free ad again, but I have to tell you that Luke's English podcast is about natural British English, how it's spoken. Luke Thompson is an English teacher from London, and he's great. His podcast is great. You can enjoy his perfect and very funny ramble episodes, his interviews with his friends and family, and his storytelling episodes, and his LEP Premium. That it's about real British English, how it's spoken. It's about Luke's teaching, and I was inspired by Luke because I created this podcast. Thanks for Luke that inspired me for creating this podcast, because Luke in his episodes said, people, create your own podcast and practice your speaking skills, because everything is about 5P: practice, 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 and practice. And yes, people, here I am, and I've been podcasting for 2 years, and it's better idea to do than scrolling social media and do nothing, and or to go to pub or drink beer and do nonsense and be drunk or something like that. And I've been learning English since August 2022 until now. And now I can talk about the history of Peter's English podcast, because I'm celebrating my podcast is celebrating the second year. And I remember, people, that the start of Peter's English podcast was very funny, and I did my first 12 episode thanks to my phone, and I uploaded it. But first I registered via Spotify for creators, and I uploaded 12 episodes that were rubbish, because the first 12 episodes are about and I tried to do story like Luke, because I was inspired by Luke's Pink Gorilla story from LEP, and I was inspired by this, and I think, Peter, you can do this too. And I tried to do this, but it was big rubbish. But who cares? The main point is that I wanted to do something with my English, because my main dream is to speak English fluently. And thanks to learning English, I can really change my life. Remember, people, that thanks to learning English, I can travel around the world, because the main business language is English. The main language of the internet is English. There are a lot of English content. You can watch movies and series in English. You can listening to a lot of English podcasts and audiobooks. You can create your own English podcast, and you can create your own novel like me. And yes, I created my podcast thanks for AI chatbots. Because thanks for AI chatbots, I think I was chatted with ChatGPT about this. ChatGPT inspired me for learning for my podcast, because it told me, Peter, you can do this. You can create your own English podcast for free. We found doing business, because it's a free podcast, and it's a free podcast until now. Because let's be honest, I cannot make profit from this podcast, and in Slovakia it's not very easy to do business in, yes, and my podcast is simply free forever, and it stays free forever. And I remembered that I uploaded my first 12 episodes, and I created my YouTube channel thanks for ChatGPT again, who inspired me for this, and he told me how to connect RSS feed to my Spotify, from my Spotify for creators account to my YouTube channel, and I did it. And you can see now I have on YouTube more than 1,140 episodes, I mean videos, reels plus everything else. And then I was thinking, Peter, you like create stories? Yes, because Eliška Krasna from Viuka I Online told us that that people, if you want to practice your writing skills in English, you have to start write your own stories. And I did it because I like to do my own stories. And I was thinking my Peter's English podcast can be about my own stories in English. And I just did it. And I started and I created Peter's Fairy Tales. Yes, people, you can enjoy Peter's Fairy Tales on Wattpod. But you know, there are not a lot of uh, fun. There is not a lot of fun or wild crazy dialogues because my stories are different dialogues. I mean, Peter's fairy tales. There are this kind of fairy tales are very short and they don't have any kind of dialogues. But yes, people, I tried it, and my Peter English podcast was about my own fairy tales. But then I discovered uh, Peter, Peter's English podcast cannot be only about your fairy tales. You cannot only read something because I wanted to practice my speaking skills because you have to practice except your listening skills and except your writing skills, your speaking skills. And I decided that I had to do something, and I started to do another type of content that I have to speak with on preparation or with the text, and I did it, but it was the start was very funny because I tried to remember things and I was very nervous and so on, and I continued with my phone because my early episodes were created with my phone, but the quality is good, I think. And and then I was talking with ChatGPT with about the upgrade of my podcast, and I did it. I bought my condensator mic, Logitech Blue Yeti, and it was a big change. It was sea change. Yes, it was my sea change of my podcast, and it was a big change of my podcast. It was a big upgrade because from this time I add, I connected the professional sound to my podcast, and it's great. But and I started, and thanks to ChatGPT, because he recommended to me, Peter, you have to monitor your voice during podcasting, during your live streams, during your recordings. Yes, and I did it, but I used had simple earphones. Yes, I learned how to monitor my voice, but I used simple earphones, and it was and I use very low volume, and I was thinking everything is all right. But then, thanks to Copilot, I discovered that I'm shouting because I had terrible settings. I used because, as you know, the condensator microphone are very strong and very sensitive. And yes, I had to tell you that that I chatbots, especially ChatGPT, recommended to me. But yes, I didn't ask about the characteristics. I simply find this on the internet in shops, and I was reading. I remember, oh, this is perfect. Logitech Blue Yeti is perfect condensator mic. I can read that it's for podcasters. I want to. I have to have it, and I decided to buy it. And I didn't ask that what kind of mic I need for my podcast, and it was my fault because I didn't check the truth on the internet with the reality, and but it was a good idea because the microphone was professional. Then I remember that I used my old laptop that was very old, but it was great for simple audio recordings with Audacity, that is free software, and it was great. But I decided that Peter, you have to buy modern laptop because you have to use uh, very strong and very good professional more professional laptop that is good enough for live streams and doing your podcast. And I did it. I decided that I have to buy a gaming laptop because it has strong gaming GPU. It has good processor. It's fast, and it was created for strong power. and I did it. It was the main reason. I didn't, and I have to tell you people that I did that I haven't played any kind of games on my gaming laptop until now, because I use my laptop only for my live streams and for my Peter English podcast, because I don't play games. Because I discovered, people, that thanks to creating my own novel via the Vampire Girl Diary, I like to create my own world. Because Viera the Vampire Girl is my own universe, and I'm so proud of myself that I created my own universe, because then I created Viera the Vampire Girl. I remember chapter 1, and I create, and yes, because Viera the Vampire Girl was the part of my Peter's fairy tales, that JGPT told me, Peter, or I think Copilot, I don't know, Peter, you have to create a book from you have to change Viera the Vampire Girl Diary, your novel, into the main star of your, into a flagship of your podcast. And I did it. I created the independent ebook, independent novel, Viera the Vampire Girl Diary, and I decided that it has to be a sitcom series, because I like making fun of everyone and everything, and I did it. And okay, Peter, just try to continue, try to survive for 1 hour. Yes, it's very hot, it's really hot, but I can do this. Peter, simply continue, simply continue, and because it's live stream, and I want to talk about Viera the Vampire Girl and Diary, because I remember the first chapters of Viera are not very funny, because because there are like my Peter fairy tales, a little serious and a little nonsense, but okay, it's very funny, and and then I decided, Peter, we are the Vampire Diary has to be your own sitcom series, because you like to do uh, because you like to make fun of every fan of or everything, and I decided, and I was inspired by the famous vampire novel from Bram Stoker called Dracula, and I was fascinated with his vampire brides. They are beautiful and dangerous, and they can bite you. And I decided to do this, and I created Viera the Vampire Girl, that she is female beautiful, attractive, gothic, tall female vampire from East Slovakia, and 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 she lives in the modern Slovakia, and she is dominant. She wild, crazy. She likes to flirt with boys, and I added myself into the story as the part of the fun. And Peter, me myself, it's her boyfriend, because Vera, I can tell you that Vera can be my dream girlfriend or something like that. But don't be, but wait a minute, people. Vera the Vampire Girl Diary, it's a parody of my future girlfriend. Yes, it's a parody of my life. It's parody of the romantic relationship between men and women. And Viera, the Vampire Girl Diary, is my parody girlfriend that I don't have. But it's not, I don't want to talk about this. I simply like to make fun of myself, and I like to do parody of girls and so on. And I did it. And Vera is dangerous. She can bite me, and she is dominant. She has power, because I decided Vera has to be the strongest female vampire of the world, because I'm fascinated by strong women. I was fascinated by Game of Thrones, by Daenerys Targaryen and her dragons, and I was uh, inspired by my life, because I like strong women with power, and I was so fascinated that I created Vera the Vampire Girl. And Vera is dominant. She likes to mocking Peter for every nonsense, and they are shouting at each other. They are arguing with each other, and I discovered Peter. Vera only shouts at Peter the whole time. They didn't have any romantic situation, and I decided Vera has to show some feelings to Peter. She cannot be so cold, so dangerous. And I did it, and I added to her character that that she can show her feelings for Peter, that she loves him really, and so on. And I remember that, okay, I have to use something because it's so hot here. It's so hot, but I can do this. I hope that I can do this. We found problems. Okay, let Peter just continue. I've been streaming for 40 minutes and I want to continue with the next 40 minutes. And I can't see that I can do this without any kind of problem. And I want to continue talking about Viera, the vampire girl. And I decided that Viera has to show more feelings for Peter. She has to be more real. And in the next chapters, I added more realistic situation, more dialogues. And Viera, the Vampire Diary, has now a lot of dialogues. There are crazy dialogues, and I try to create realistic, funny dialogues. And every character is different. It has own personality, and Viera now lives in the English speaking country in London with her boyfriend Peter. And I want to create more realistic background, more characteristic life, because Vera has to learn English. And I was thinking about her kingdom, because first Vera was the queen of the Dark Empire, and I was thinking, wait, Peter, Vera is a queen. She is the empress, or what she is. I decided the dark organization, her dark kingdom has to be the dark organization, a company that Viera owns, and it has to be democratic. And I created the council of the dark organization, and the main goal of the dark organization is to care about all supernatural creatures. And I added the profit to this imaginable fantasy company of all vampires and werewolves. And Viera made a company with her vampire girls for lonely people, and the vampires do and the werewolves do SBS, of course. And I want to continue with my novel. With the Vampire Diary, because it's by Peter. Is your novel. It's not Viera's novel. Viera is only your character. And yes, this was about something about Viera the Vampire Girl, and I can continue with the history of Peter's English podcast. And I decided that I want to change my audio Peter's English podcast into full HD video podcast, because I like to have my own television and radio. And I did it. I bought my webcam, Logitech MX Brio 4K, that I do my live streams in full HD, 60 pixels per second, because I cannot use 2K or 4K, because I simply don't have. Yes, I can use my big monitor. I mean, because I bought my gaming monitor Asus, but it's too big. And imagine, people, that 2K or 4K needs a lot of needs good and strong internet. Yes, I have. Yes, people, I have my optical internet via electric poles, and my internet is strong enough for my podcast. But I decided no, full HD is enough. Okay, what I'm not talking. Yes, I can talk that I used to use the whole house as my podcast studio, and I didn't have a stable studio like today. And I remember that the last Christmas 2025 I created a calendar, a system, because the biggest problem was that I did everything in one go. I remember that I wrote my chapter, I recorded it, and I edited it, and I published it, and I did it the whole day. It was impossible, and I was so tired, and I didn't want to do this. And I decided, Peter, everything has to have the system, and I did it, and I did it a system, and the calendar, and now my calendar, and now I have my stable publication day of Peter's English podcast, that it's every every week of B, and no, it's not every week of B. It's every Friday of the week B, after my morning shifts, and every time I want to upload and record, and not record, I want to upload my 8 recordings, and I simply cut my creation from editing and publishing, because you cannot do everything in one day. It's impossible. And yeah, because I was overwhelmed, it was impossible to do this, and I did it, and I did it, and now I have, and now and I cut it. Not cut, Peter. What I'm talking about? Not cut, not cut, but cut it. And I cut it my creation from editing and publication, and now, and I don't work during the week A, because I work in the afternoon, and I stream and record every week of week B, when I do my learn English with Peter Pip Mode episodes. Every Saturday is about my Pip Mode episodes about my own novel, The Vampire Girl Diary, and every Sunday it's about Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode. And I added Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode because I wanted to ramble and talk about every kind of nonsense for 1 hour every Sunday, and I did it. And now I have three types of episodes. I have Pip Mode episode, Learn English with Peter, and the Pip Mode episode. The second is the Pip Mode episode of my vampire of novel, The Vampire Girl Diary, and the third kind of episodes is my Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episodes, and where I talk for 1 hour without any kind of preparation. And I'm happy because now I created 3 main formats of my podcast. Thanks to it, I can improve my my English grammar, because I decided that my people episode Learn English with Peter has to be about the chatting with AI chatbots as my English teachers. It's a good idea, I think, and until now I think so. And I kept my favorite writing, because I like to write my novel. We had the Vampire Girl Diary with my podcast, Peter's English podcast, and with my novel Viera, the Vampire Girl Diary is my 2 childs. Yes, my 2 biggest projects of my life, and I'm so happy. Yes, people, you don't have to say, you can say, Peter, but your health is more important. Yes, it is, I know, but it's my hobby. Learning English is my hobby, and I like to watch movies and series in English. I like to listen to my favorite English podcasts and audiobooks, and I like to do my novel, my Viera, the Vampire Girl Diary, and I like to do my Peter's English podcast. And yes, people, as you can see, I'm sweating a lot because it's very, very hot. And yes, I want to do my podcast because it's very important for my English. If I want to speak English fluently, I have to practice. And yes, I could create my summer studio in the living room of my ground floor of my house, where is colder. But here is my LAN connection to my router of my optical internet via electric poles, and I think it's the best idea to be here, because this is my room, and I feel great, and here I feel okay and well only here in my room. Okay, I've been streaming for 40 minutes and I'm still okay. I did not have any health problems, as I want to continue for the last 20 minutes, and I'm sweating a lot. It's very hot. As you can see, I think that I'm sweating, but who cares? Who cares? I don't care about you. I mean about people who like to judge me, who like to make fun of me, and I don't care about people who wants to give me orders how should I live and so on. And because you cannot stop me from learning English, you cannot stop me from doing my Peter's English podcast, and you cannot stop me from doing my novel, The Vampire Girl Diary. I want to fight for my hobby, because it's my hobby, it's my lifestyle. You cannot stop me. But I want to connect with people who like learn English like me, who are content creators like me. It means that you like doing your own podcast for learning English, and you like to do your own novel, your own novel, not Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. Well, Peter, what are you talking about? Viera the Vampire Girl Diary is your child. Yes, it's your novel. Yes, and if you like to do your own novel, but for learning English, of course, not for. I don't want to connect with authors because I'm not an author. I don't have my own. I don't have published my own uh, I haven't published my own book. No, Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. It's only my novel for learning English, but I decided that the best publisher for my novel, The Vampire Girl Diary, it's my podcast. Yes, yay, yes, because thanks to Peter English podcast, everyone can see me, everyone can listen to me. I can create Peter's English podcast community with the learners like me, and that's great. And okay, I want to continue that now I have my stable studio in my room, as I said before, and I'm so happy. Yes, I can tell you that I found Spotify for creators thanks for ChatGPT that told me and recommended it because it said, Peter, it's free. Yay. And I want to tell you people, use the help of AI chatbots. They are very good helpers. You can use them for learning English. You can talk with them in English. It can be very good English teachers, but don't replace them because they were not created for replacing of the communication with the real people. No, it was designed as the creative partners, as a tool for improving our lives, and it's a very good tool for learning English. But you cannot replace it. And yes, the best thing is to connect with learners like you or me. But yes, I want to create my own English podcast community, but I haven't found anyone until now. But yes, it's not very easy because I want to connect with someone like me who like learning English, who does its own English podcast, and who writes its own their own novel for learning English. Simply, I want to connect with people like me, and I don't want to spend my time with somebody who doesn't care about me, who doesn't care about learning English, and who gossips behind my back, and who judges me, and who makes fun of me, and who has boring life. I don't care. And okay, I think that I told you everything about. And yes, I didn't tell you because the last Christmas I bought my professional studio LED light. Thanks to it, you can see my face until yes, you can hear me well because I bought only 2 months ago my dynamic uh, studio studio podcast mic Shure MV6 with the boom arm RØDE PSA 1 plus, and I'm proud of myself that I did it because thanks to Copilot, I have this perfect radio voice because Copilot found me on the internet how to add filters into the into the settings of the microphone in my OBS software for live streams, and now I'm feeling like the radio presenter or in the professional radio. And yes, I bought my professional studio headphones by Dynamic for the monitoring of my voice, and I discovered that condensator microphones are too sensitive and are not very good for doing my podcast. And thanks for Copilot, I discovered that there are two different kinds. The first are condensator mics that are very sensitive, and the second kind of microphones are dynamic mics that are not so sensitive, that they can record only your voice but your mouth, you have to be simply near, very close to the dynamic mic. And I'm yeah, but you cannot see it right now, but I'm near my mic, and thanks to this, thanks to my boom arm and thanks to my dynamic mic Shure MV6, I upgraded my podcast, and I have this professional radio voice, and I'm so happy. I'm still feeling like the radio presenter uh, during my in the radio, and it's great. It was a big upgrade. It was a second big sea change, and I created the stable studio because I didn't want to use my whole house for it. I want to have a stable studio, and I called it Podcast Studio 3.0. And yes, you can see it that it was a very good idea. And now I'm so proud of myself that I did it, because now my podcast is more professional. My statistics are growing. My podcast is growing, but yes, I don't have very strong statistics, but my statistics are growing the whole time, every day, and it's great. I'm so happy, and you can do this too. And I think everyone can do this. Imagine people, uh, before the August 2022, I didn't know something about learning English. I was scared of learning English. I remember that from childhood, my main foreign language was German, because I remember that as a little child, I watched cartoons in cartoon. Yes, it's an American English word, animated series on in German television, because I remember that we had German television, and thanks to it, I improved my listening skills in German, and I realized that I have to do this too. But I realized, thanks to English learning platforms like Viera Online and Azikoi Mentoring, and you can use their help too, but you can use their free service on you, or you can pay for their service. It's up to you. And yes, and I hired my own uh, English teacher. Hi, my own English teacher. Thank you for a great job. And yes, you can hire our own English teacher, but imagine, people, your one English lesson per week cannot teach you English. You have to practice. Everything is about practice, as my favorite hero, Luke Thompson from Luke's English Podcast said, and it's true. You can listen LEP, Luke's English Podcast, and I want to talk about Speak English Podcast now with Georgiana and All Is English. These two American English podcasts are for learners of English. They are about American English. You can learn American English, how it's spoken. And Luke's English Podcast is about British English, how it's spoken. Okay, Peter. And people, what now? I've been streaming for 48 minutes. It's not very easy to do in these conditions. It's so hot that it is very hard. I hope that I would stay okay, but I'm feeling well. I didn't have any problems, and but I because I have to show you some performance. And yes, I don't watch every time into my webcam, but I don't care. It's normal. It's a normal in during the conversation between humans, that we humans are like to watch in into our faces, because it's normal, and I do the same, and you can do this too. I do this, and it's better than practice or speaking skills in the front of the mirror. It's better because you can create your own project, and your own project can be your English podcast about practicing your English speaking skills, and you don't need to do 1 hour ramble episodes if you don't have time. Your episodes can be only about rambling, and you can practice for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes when you have time. It's up to you. Yes, people, and you can write your own novel, and you don't need to create long episodes. I mean chapters. Every chapter can be short. Can have only 500 words. Your novel can be short. Who cares? It's about that you learning English. It's about having fun. And yes, don't forget to practice your listening skills. It's very important, because we found practicing your listening skills, you cannot speak English. And how to do this? Download your favorite podcast app, and start to follow my favorite English podcast for learning English. And you can listening your favorite English podcasts while you are doing something like me. It's a great hobby. I like to do this. I like to work in the garden while I'm listening to my favorite English podcast, but not today because the heat wave is so strong that it's absolutely nonsense to go outside, because in Slovakia it's very dry and very hot air right now. It's not possible to go outside, and I'm sweating in my room, and it's so hot that it's impossible to work in the garden. But you can cook, you can do everything at home while you are listening, and you can improve your listening skills, because you have to know how you have to know uh, how looks real not looks real, real English cannot, it's not a person. You have to know how real English sounds, and it's very important for you, and you have to do this too. Okay, I'm feeling like the monk during his speech in the church during every Sunday. But but right now I'm really feeling like the radio presenter as a monk at the same time in the religious radio. But okay, who cares? Yes, I don't want to make fun of this kind of topic. No, no, no. I'm sorry, people. I only like to make fun of myself, and I like to and learning English has to be funny. You cannot learn English without having fun. And my Peter English podcast and my novel, Viera Vampire Diary, it's the best kind of project of my life, and my podcast is growing the whole time. My statistics are growing, and my biggest audience are people from the USA. I'm like the real American podcast. It's great for me. That it means that people can understand me in the world, and that's great. It's not a nonsense. I'm not making fool of myself, because now you can see my statistics that are great. I'm so happy and proud of myself, and I want to continue with this because it's a fun. It's my main hobby, and it's my lifestyle. And you can do this too. And yes, I know right now you don't need to imagine this, but I was like you. I didn't know how to learn English, but thanks to Slovak and English learning platforms like Viuka, I online on or jazykovymentory.sk, I discovered, thanks to their free videos, how to practice your my English. And don't use only apps like Duolingo, because they are only playing. It's a waste of time. It's like scrolling on the social media. If you want to really learn English, you have to have motivation. I have my motivation. My main motivation is the sea change of my life. I want to change my life. I want to live. I want to live like people in no people. No, people, Peter, what are you talking about? Just that's be simple, okay? I want to tell you that thanks to learning English, I can change my life. Yes, this is the man, and I can enjoy a big world of English content. And thanks to my Peter English podcast, and thanks to my novel, Viera Vampire Diary. Who knows? Maybe one day I can be the big podcaster, and my novel, Viera Vampire Diary, can earn millions of dollars. It can be a big bestseller. Who knows? Everything is possible, and you can do this too. I know maybe as I said 100 times before, you cannot imagine this, but who cares? Who cares? You can start. Don't be afraid. Yes, you can make. Yes, don't judge yourself. Don't listen anyone else, because people like to judge. People like to complain behind our backs, but don't care people. Just start to learn English like me, and it's a great and interesting idea how to practice your English, because the main goal of this podcast is practicing my speaking skills. The second is inspiring you for learning English, and the third thing is I want to present you my flagship novel, The Vampire Diary. Okay, I've been streaming for 55 minutes. I hope that I don't fall down or something like that, because I my every week performance has to have 1 hour. And yes, it's the end of my live stream. I'm so happy that I did it again. And people and Peter, just try to breathe, and don't, and then you have to drink mineral water again, because you have to drink water in this heat. Don't forget, don't go outside, like idiots, don't go outside, because now is the very strong heat wave. Imagine in Slovakia is the strong, very hot continental dry air that has 41 degrees or 40, and more than 45. It's impossible to be there. And I'm not very happy about the situation where people are going to the water, because yes, it can be a good idea to be near the water, but you have to breathe this very hot continental dry air, and it's not very good be outside right now. Yes, the best idea is to avoid this big heats, this big heat wave, and take care of yourself, drink a lot of water, and don't go outside during the biggest heat wave. Okay, I think that yes, I want to uh, yes, I want to tell my English teacher, hi, my English teacher, thank you for a great job. I like your job. You're the best English teacher in the world. Hi. And okay, I think that's it. I don't want to tell you anything from my personal life, and because my personal life cannot be here. I mean, my private personal life about my family and so on has to be private. Okay, okay, people. I want to talk for the last 4 minutes. Who knows? I don't know if I have. Yes, as I said 100 million times before, I don't do this because I want to have big statistics, great statistics. I want to do this because it's my hobby, and I want to practice my speaking skills in English. And you can see it works. But you have to practice, practice, and practice. You have to think in English. Don't care about anyone, and do and continue. And you have to simply learn English. You have to have fun. And I think that my way is good for you too, because everyone can, not anyone, everyone can do this. You have to find your own way how to do this. As I said 100 times before, the podcast doesn't need to be long. It can be short, and your novel can be short. The main thing is to practice your writing skills, about practice your writing skills, listening skills, speaking skills, and English grammar and pronunciation too. But how to you can but everything is but your own podcast can be about this all, and it's great, and everyone can do this. And yes, in the future I would like to have my Peter's talk show is the fourth kind of episodes where I want to talk with my friends in a funny way, in a free way, and I want to have fun with them in English. And we can do this with during our live stream. I want to publish this kind of episodes as my regular episodes on the internet for everyone. But I have to, if I want to do this kind of episodes, I have to find this kind of people. It cannot be everyone. It has to be people who I can trust, because I don't trust anyone except myself and my parents and my family. And it has to be someone that wants to publish, and he doesn't want to delete this kind of episodes. But okay, I don't care if I don't find okay. The main important thing is that I'm doing this for myself, because I'm doing this kind of podcast. I'm doing this podcast only for myself, for my improving my English in general, and it works. As you can see, I can talk in English for 1 hour without any kind of preparation, because I can. And the biggest boost, I think, is looking into my face into my screen of my laptop, because I can in this moment I'm looking into my not into your eyes. I'm looking into my face, into the record screen of my OBS studio. Why not? I'm improvising, talking with people, and I think it's very good idea. Who cares? I don't, because I cannot imagine to watch the whole 1 hour into my webcam. Yes, I can do this one time per hour, but who cares? Peter English podcast has its own rules. Okay, I'll be streaming for 1 hour. I think it's right time to end this live stream, but before it, before this, I want to read you my slogan. Learn English, be successful, change your life, open other doors, create your own podcast, write your own novel. You don't need to be talented because learning English is for everyone. Yes, people, it's true. Okay, people, that's it. I think that I've been streaming for 1 hour. I want to stream for the next 2 minutes and Bob's your uncle. Okay, what I can tell you, please follow me everywhere. Please watch me and recommend me to everyone. Why not? And start your own podcast. Learn English in a fun way. You can try my way. It really works. But do this in your way. Find a free time for this. And is a simply good idea how to have because I think everyone likes to everyone can like to be like to have its own podcast as your own television or radio where you can talk about everything what you want. Why not? You can share your thoughts with the world. You can connect everyone with the world, and that's it. I think I've been streaming for 61 minutes, and I want to stream the last minute. Okay, this last minute is for thanking everyone. Thank you, people, for your watching. Thank you, people, for your following. Please follow me everywhere. Watch my novel, read my novel, Viera on my website, peterenglishpodcast.com. You can read my novel into my Quadpod account, and you can watch into my playlist of my, yes, you can watch my full HD with video podcast on YouTube and on Spotify. But I hope that in the future you can enjoy my full HD video podcast on Apple Podcasts. Thanks for Apple Podcasts Halo video service. And because I read in the website of Apple Podcast Connect and Spotify for creators that my free podcast service, Spotify for creators account, what I'm talking about, that the Spotify for creators wants to cooperate with Apple Podcasts, and they want to send the RSS Hello Sub video to Apple Podcasts, and people in the future can enjoy my full HD video podcast not only on YouTube or on Spotify but on Apple Podcasts, and it can be the fourth biggest sea change of my podcast. Oh, but who knows and who cares? Well, we'll see. Okay, people, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I have to tell you, bye bye.